Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This one is a little bit different in that it's going to be a Variax centered video. Still using Helix for the tones, but I've actually been seeing a little bit of discussion on the Helix Facebook group about Variax, different questions, and one of the things that came up is if whether or not to roll back to firmware version 1.9 to get better Strat sounds. That's something that's been debated since the firmware 2.0 came out. I think they're up to 2.21 now. Personally speaking, I immediately loved the new firmware, and I've never felt the need to roll back. The complaints are that the new Strat is a little too bright and maybe a little thin compared to the old Strat. It really bothered a lot of people. I have found, now I will say it is bright, but there are a couple of tweaks, things you could do in Workbench I'm going to show you to kind of balance that out. Starting with, if you come over to the Pots tab under the resistance setting, the lower this is, the less high end you're going to have. So it defaults to 250. For the neck pickup, I drop it down to 100K, like bridge pickup 50K, because it's a little, it's really bright on the bridge, obviously. Another thing I do is I also bump up the level of the pickups for two reasons. One, it helps balance, balance against humbucker modeled guitars, because humbuckers are louder, obviously. So that's one kind of, just kind of utilitarian function. It kind of gets the single coils as loud. It also hits the front of the amp harder, just a little punchier, and I like that. The other tweak you can do is experiment with moving the pickups on the body. Of course, the closer that you move them to the neck, you're going to get more low end, less high end, and the closer the pickups are to the bridge, you're going to get the more and more trebly sound, just like you would in real life. So you can adjust that as well if you find that the tone is a little too bright. So again, just by changing the resistance settings and then playing around with the physical position of the pickups on the guitar, you should be able to get it to where you want it, quite honestly. That's the beauty of Workbench. And if you roll back to 1.9, you lose Workbench. You can actually use the old version of Workbench that came out with the original Variax, but you lose Workbench HD. And honestly, it was Workbench. Once I got my Variax set up the way I wanted it, I don't open Workbench that much anymore, but I can't imagine having Variax without Workbench to get it just dialed in exactly the way I want it. It's just such an awesome tool. I would hate to see people lose access to that just to roll back when I feel like you can accomplish the same goals just by tweaking it a little bit in Workbench. So I'm going to give you some sound examples, and you'll be able to see as I am flipping pickups. I'm using a matchless patch in Helix, and at some point I'll probably turn a tube screamer on so you can hear what it sounds like with a little bit of drive to it. But I'll just play some little bits and pieces of Stratty type songs and let you hear that. So here we go. There you go. Sloppy playing aside, that's some examples of the tones for you. Lastly, I'm going to just do a quick A/B comparison between the modeled neck and the actual magnetic neck pickup on the JTV 69, so you can hear the difference there. And they're not exactly identical, so you will hear some differences there. But just as the comparison, I'll hit a lick on the modeled sound, and I'll flip over to the magnetic, hit the same lick. Let you hear what that sounds like. So there you go. There's the Strat sounds from Variax version 2.21 with just a little bit of tweaking done to it. I hope this was helpful if you're kind of on the fence about it, and kind of let you hear what it can sound like and so forth. So anyway, if you have any questions, let me know. And as always, thanks for watching.